So, are you emotionally connected to your work and to your workplace? So, this is really interesting because I know a lot of times we talk about emotions in the workplace, and folks will say, well, we have to manage the emotions, we have to keep them out of the workplace. But I'm going to take a different spin on this today and talk about the importance of being emotionally connected to the work we do, to the mission that we have in our lives, and to the core calling of what we're put on this earth to really help and build and create. So, there was just an article in Forbes that talked about the activated employee. And there's a lot of talk around employee engagement. Gallup does employee engagement surveys a lot, and they talk about the characteristics of engaged employees and why that's better for workforce culture and workforce productivity. But Forbes took a great look at the activated employee, and they said activated employees are emotionally connected to their work, their peers, and the overarching goals of the organization. They're not just there for the paycheck, they're invested in the success of the organization and of the team. And how many of us know folks like this? And hopefully we are folks like this, where we actually feel connected to what we're doing. Like we can see how the work we're doing every day serves a greater whole, a bigger mission. It actually moves the organization forward, right? That's so important, especially for strategic planning and strategic alignment of work and of goals and of standards and KPIs and all the stuff that we want to make sure that we're tracking. So as you think about the work that you're doing, my encouragement, my vision, my dream for all of you is that you can feel connected to this core calling inside of you, your gifts, your skill sets, your superpowers. So this really came to light for me the other day. I was teaching a class, incredible class in our DBA program, our #1 Forbes ranked DBA program, Doctorate of Business Administration. And I teach a class called High Performance Leadership. And we start the class by asking the group of leaders, like I don't even see them as students in a sense. I mean, they are students in the program, but I see them as leaders because they've made a commitment to invest in themselves, to invest in their education, to invest in their leadership. They've made a commitment to show up once a week in a Zoom session with me and then to do the work. And we were talking about their superpowers. Like, what are the things they're just really gifted at doing? It's kind of like that Japanese phrase, ikigai, the things that we're really great at doing, that we excel at doing, we love doing, that the world needs and that they'll pay for, right? And if you find that at the very core, you found that superpower. And it can change with time as far as what the world needs and what may pay for, but it doesn't change the heart and soul of what you're put here to do. So when you can connect your work with that, it's not going to feel like you have to push yourself through every day. You'll feel pulled forward. You'll feel like it's just propelling you there. And the leaders in my class were talking about how they want to find that with their dissertation topic, because if you're going to be really working in this topic for a year or two, you want to feel like you're emotionally connected. So this is really critical because many times in life we can feel like we're numb or disengaged, or we're just not at the right place. We're not connected to the work. We're showing up. We're going through the motions. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for your company, for your organization, right? I mean, it'd be amazing if businesses can build a culture of engaged, activated, connected employees. So how do you get emotionally connected to your work? Well, first we have to do a deep dive and figure out what is it that you are really called to do? Like, where do you really feel your talents, your skills, the needs of the world align? And can you see yourself doing that in your job? Sometimes it just takes us putting on a different hat, looking at things from a different perspective, through a different lens, right? Like I remember early in my career, I was working with a real estate firm, and I remember thinking, you know, if I can just see this job differently, I'll feel more engaged. And I think I came back from a trip, or it was a work trip or something, and a switch like flipped for me. And I just suddenly felt so connected to the work. I started to take more ownership, more agency. I felt more pride in what I was doing. And I don't remember exactly what shifted. I think there was just something that happened where I realized I'm not working at this job. I'm part of this organization. I'm an ambassador of this organization, and I have such pride of ownership and pride of work in that. So that's my encouragement to all of you, is understand the importance of being emotionally connected to what you do in a positive way, meaning that you feel driven, you feel motivated, you feel like it lights you up. And then in that way, it doesn't feel like work. I mean, it is, but it feels like your contribution to the world. And if you can really work at that with yourself and with your teams and really build those activated, engaged employees, really build a team of activated folks, you're going to do great for yourself and for your organization. And I think about my leaders that are in the DBA program, and they're doing that now. Like, they're really taking a look at is what they're doing in their job activating their passions? Do they need to shift jobs? Do they need to change the way they look at it? It was interesting. I'm listening to this book, The Magic of Thinking Big. And David Schultz, the author, is talking about different ways that employees or professionals tend to look at jobs or promotions, right, or salary. And he was saying how, some folks think, well, I'm going to serve more, I'm going to work harder, I'm going to take on more responsibility, I'm going to demonstrate value before I would ask to be compensated at a higher rate or before I would ask to be promoted. And he said, and some folks might say, well, I'll do that work, I'll put in that time, I'll take that ownership interest if I get this job or if I get this salary or promotion. And he talks about the different ways that, people look at that and how organizations can value that. And his encouragement is really our success is based on how much we can contribute and serve to others and how we can feel emotionally connected to that. And then the money and the title and all those things follow. And that those folks that are really invested and successful in life and that have done a great job and that are really fulfilled in their job, they might approach things more from a, let me dive in, let me show you, let me demonstrate more value. And they kind of do it that way first versus asking for it and then saying, well, I won't do that unless I get this. And that was kind of an eye-opener for me, because I can tell you, I sort of remember again early on in my career having that thought like, well, that's not my role. If it was my role, I would do this, but I'm just going to do this here. And I noticed I wasn't happy. I wasn't connected. I wasn't fulfilled. It wasn't like, oh, it was not their fault for recognizing me or not recognizing me. I didn't feel that. So we have to supercharge ourselves first. We have to sort of charge up our battery, our energy first, get connected to our work, know what it is we can bring every day so that we're not walking around kind of in zombie mode, but we actually know we're laser focused on, here are my skills, here's my contribution, here's what I'm going to do today to crush those goals so we can move forward ourselves as leaders and we can move our organizations ahead.